and sell them on you being the best person. So if you're good at sales, what you should do is find remote sales closing and work at a complex in New Hampshire. Yeah, man. So like, what you should do is research remote sales closing courses and go find one of those. And what they'll do, which is much more important than actually teaching you how to close, is they'll teach you, they'll put you in contact with the right people, with like good offers to jump on. One thing that you'll learn in your sales career is that it's almost more important, like what job you're getting on is actually sometimes more important than your actual skills. You'll have people who are on like the worst, who are the best salespeople. If they're on the worst offers, they're not selling. If it's not something that people want to buy, no one's gonna buy it. It doesn't matter how good of a salesperson you are. So that's really the number one thing that I would do is go to a remote sales closing course. They're like $5,000 to $10,000. Go do it, and then you'll be put on a good offer. Does anyone else have any other questions? We have 12 people on here right now. I've been on for like three minutes, so I think this is gonna end up popping off. Where should I go first in Southeast Asia for backpack hiking, just moving from place to place? I mean, I'm guessing you're going to go for a long term time. Asia's not really a hiking type place. That's not really what Asia is for, I don't really think. That being said, like if you go to Vietnam or Laos, you can go to the countryside and there's a lot of good backpacking hiking there. What's your opinion on Portuguese or Spanish chicks? European girls are like American girls. I mean, Western European girls are like American girls. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting the benefit of a Colombian girl with like a Spanish girl. So treat Spanish girls um, like you would an American girl. And the problem with Spanish girls also is they'll like less so on Spanish and Portuguese, but this is true for like most Europeans. They'll lecture you about how horrible you are for being an American. It's just an unpleasant experience dealing with Europeans. Like the best analogy I always think of when I think of Europe is basically like a high school quarterback who's like really cool and really awesome and like the man in high school, but now is like 37 and is like working at a gas station. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what Spain is, right? Spain was at its heyday 500 years ago. That's a long time. And they haven't been relevant for hundreds of years. And so realistically, like Spanish people are just kind of bitter and angry about that fact. And they take it out on you. You know what I mean? So the same way that like it kind of sucks talking to like a has-been who used to be cool 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it kind of sucks talking to like Spanish people and European people in general. What's up? What's up, man? Anything to prepare for travel paperwork wise for the Philippines? I don't think so. How does work for you in foreign countries? Like are they put off by my weight? I mean, there are girls who are put up by my weight in foreign countries, but overall, it's fine. Have you seen the passport bro video where the guy's in line at the airport swiping right 1,000 times? Do you know what's funny? I actually like I'm now a full-time TikTok content creator. I don't watch any TikTok at all. Besides the TikToks that show up when like you open up your page, I've probably seen maybe like 5 or 10 in my entire life. I'm an Instagram Reels guy, but for some reason this medium just really popped off for me, so I leaned into it. So all that to say, I don't think I've seen that video. Should I go to Portugal then? If I'm debating between that or Brazil, you should definitely go to Brazil over Portugal, and it's not even like a conversation. The same way that like if you were like I mean, the United States is way better than England. Opinion on Sicily specifically, but also Italy for trad women. Um, I've never been to Sicily. I'm sure it's great. I would love to go. I was gonna go to Palermo in August, and then we didn't. But Italy has trad women, but again, they're more in like the countryside. Nam is what I'm thinking. Nam is great. Daegu. I'd rather watch IG. Um, what do you think about Peru? I'm in Pucallpa right now. I've never been to Pucallpa. I've spent a month in Lima, and Peru is one of my favorite countries on earth. I highly recommend everyone to go to Peru. One of the big problems that I have in my life right now is like my wife's passport is a Venezuelan passport, which makes it difficult to go to other countries in South America because there's so many like Venezuelan immigrants, so that they like shut their doors to Venezuelans. And Peru is one of those countries. But I would love to go to Peru and like just explore that country for like a month or 2 months, just like go from north to south. We're actually doing that in Argentina, but I would love to do that in Peru. Like first of all, Lima was amazing, and the rest of Peru just sounds incredible. So I'm one of the biggest Peru hype guys there are. I would say that. Like if you on the internet, if you want to find out who the biggest Peru hype guys are, I don't really talk about it enough, but like I really, in my mind, I'm like a big Peru hype guy, I guess. What's the average age of a passport, bro? I don't know, dude. I'm not an expert in passport bros or passport bro culture. Weirdly enough, because like so many people think I am, I'm really not. I don't really pay attention to the other. I don't pay attention to the other passport bro creators in the space. I just kind of focus on my own thing. Did you go to Australia? I've actually never been to Australia. I probably am not go the only reason why I would go to Australia is just to have said that I've been to every continent. That would be the only reason why I would go to Australia, but even so, I was in Bali recently, which is right next to Australia, and I still didn't go to Australia because I didn't wanna do the paperwork for my wife's visa. There's nothing that's appealing to me about Australia. Australia is like every other Anglophone country, but like way worse. It's overrun with Indians. It's overrun with like Muslims. I just don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? One of the nice things about South America doesn't actually have a lot of Indians and like Muslim and like African immigration to it. And the reason is because South America isn't rich. You know what I mean? All of the like third world migration that's destroying places like Europe, Australia, the United States, it doesn't go to South America. So weirdly, in a lot of ways, because of that, South America is a lot more advanced, like a lot less third world than a lot of the first world countries that people talk about because it doesn't have that type of migration. Now, Asia obviously doesn't have migration because they don't put up with it. They don't allow that type of migration in their countries. Have I been to Paraguay? Yeah, I'm in Paraguay right now. Like Asia, it's impossible to immigrate to a country in Asia, even if you're like a millionaire. You think they're letting in like, um Nigerians? Like, no. If you had 6 months to travel to a group of countries, what would you pick with $8,000 to $10,000 saved up? I would choose Southeast Asia in a drop of a hat. $10,000 might not be like it really enough for 6 months. What I would do is I would spend around $15,000 or limit it to like 4 months. Because at that point you're doing like less than you're doing $1,000 a month, which is like not, even in the cheapest places, it's difficult to do $1,000 a month. So if you only have like $10,000, I might do 3 months, and I would do like a month in Thailand, a month in Bali, and a month in like Vietnam. Um, 6'2" Caucasian American guy. Where should I go to pull baddies? It's the funniest thing about like the tall people in my chat. Every single tall person feels the need to tell me that they're tall. Every single person who's tall feels the need to tell me that they're tall. When's that Cartagena trip? Cartagena trip is March 16th. Um, to the 22nd. I think you already filled out the form, Saloom. We have a time set up for tomorrow, I think. I want a Slavic or Croatian wife. I'm Asian. Think about Argentina then Chile. Like, if you want a Slavic, first of all, Croatians are Slavic. But second of all, if you want a Slavic wife, why not just go to Eastern Europe? Pucallpa is in the jungle. It's super hot, but I'm going back to Lima for a week next week. Nice, dude. What country in South America would you go in May? Have I been to Bermuda? No. If you're trying to rave, I don't think Brazil or Portugal are really like the best options. I'm supposed to go to Medellin Monday. I'm scared at AF. I heard it's ghetto. Please advise. Don't just don't go to Medellin. Medellin sucks. I'll do Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia. Yeah, Vietnam's great. Laos and Cambodia, I generally tell people to stay away from, mainly because like when Wendy, mainly because if you haven't been to Asia, Laos and Cambodia can be a little overwhelming. But if you've already been to Thailand and Malaysia and Vietnam, then you should be fine. Puedes traer Blanca?
Tranca.
Gracias.
Ya. Mi
Tá.
mamá no acredita.
Não. Quando ela está escrita, eu vou te dizer.
Qué raro.
Ah, sim, ela te manda cada momento de cada dia. Happy New Year. Happy New Year's, guys. Mexican or Colombian ass better? I think Colombian is. I look, you're never gonna hear me say a good word about Portugal, and or you're never gonna hear me say a good word about Western Europe. That doesn't mean that there aren't good words to say about Western Europe. It's just that like I'm never gonna be the person who says them. The only city in Western Europe that I might say something nice about is Paris, and even that is kind of pushing it. So I would just not ask me the questions about Western Europe or even Eastern Europe. You know what I mean? Like, don't ask me about either of those places. But I'm sure there are good things to say about it. I'm sure there are people who go there who enjoy it. It's just not me. So, you know, I'd ask somebody else. To be honest with you, I'm not the person to be giving out advice about Western Europe because I hate Western Europe. Western Europe is my least favorite place on planet Earth. I would honestly, if somebody gave me a choice of like living in Malawi or living in like Spain, I would choose Malawi, 100%. There's no question in my mind. Like I would choose maybe Democratic Republic of Congo is a little tough because they're like in the literal like active civil war, and I'm planning on having a family. But if I was single, I would probably choose the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is like one of the most dangerous places on planet Earth. I would probably choose that over Western Europe. Let me think of some other places I would choose over Western Europe. I would definitely choose Syria over Western Europe personally. Like if again, if I had to choose, go to Syria or go to Spain, Syria, no question. Definitely, I would definitely choose the Stan countries over Western Europe, over like Italy or Portugal or France or Germany. Like the Kazakhstan, those are actually close to the top of my list. That's not even a fair fight. Would I choose India over Western Europe? That is the really tough question. And still, I might choose India. I might choose India. Yeah, no, people have just been asking a lot of like Western European countries, and like I just went on a whole rant about it. But so here's the thing. Like I spent a month in Madrid. Madrid's not nice, and so if someone's telling me that Madrid's nice, it really like makes me question everything they said. I lived in where did I live? By the way, if you hear music in the background, that's my wife's family came over for New Year's, but I promised the universe that I would be here every every weekday from 6 to 8 p.m. And we got to get that paper. So I was in Lapinas, in which is literally like right next to the Prada Museum. Lava Peace is where I was. I literally at one point I walked like 35 minutes to try to find a Spanish restaurant in Lava Peace, and I couldn't find one. It took me 35 minutes to find a Spanish restaurant in Lava Peace. And like if I'm in the capital city of your country, it should I don't care where I am in that capital city, it should not take me 35 goddamn minutes to find a restaurant of the cuisine of the country that I'm in. I promise you, in India, it does not take you 35 minutes to find an Indian restaurant. You can find an Indian restaurant within 2, 3 minutes, right? Japan, same thing. Western Europe is the only place on planet Earth where you can't find German food in Germany. You can't find Italian food in Italy. You can't find it's really hard to find real Italian food in the city of Rome, which is shocking, but it's true. I always say I'm going to go on holidays, but never get around to it. Just don't. Um, have I been to the Nordics? I haven't been to the Nordics yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to hate it too. Again, I really just hate Europe, so it's really tough. And then, like, I understand that I have a prejudice about it, but that's just where I am. Which country has the meanest women? Probably Swiss. Swiss women kind of suck the most. Switzerland is kind of the epicenter, I think, of like wokeism. Like those are kind of like the most of like your like navel piercing blue hair type girls are like Swiss girls. Because here's the thing, like French girls, yeah, French girls are like obviously very leftist because of France. But at least the beautiful thing about French girls is at least they pride themselves on being good in bed. You know what I mean? Like at least France has that going for it. Or at least they have a culture where they're like, look, we're annoying, we're liberal, but at least we are the country of love. Switzerland doesn't have that. So because flights in Europe are like 25 bucks. Yeah, I'm about to spend 3 months in Europe because my family lives in Wrocław, and I'm gonna be visiting a bunch of different European countries. So I'm gonna have like updated opinions on all these countries, but none of them are gonna be good. I'm not gonna have any good opinions on these countries. The only places in Europe that I think are really redeemable is like the Baltics. No, not the Baltics, the Balkans. So like Croatia, Montenegro, Albania, I really like those places. But even so, like those are also incredibly touristy, right? So like you go to like so one of my favorite places on planet Earth is Kotor, Montenegro, right? The problem with Kotor is that Kotor is literally just it's all tourist traps. Everything is touristy. So even the nice places in Europe are have negative aspects to them. Flights between places in South America are like USA prices. That's not true. Flights between places in South America are like a hundred to $300. I'd say are the most. I want to go to South America. Is Rio good? Yeah, I've said this many times before. I'm not going to redo the whole rant now, but like if you are going to South America, you should just like Rio should really be Rio or obviously Cartagena, the group trip should be like your first choices. Don't overthink it. Korea, Japan, Taiwan women woke too. Like, yes, the problem with those women is that they're not just woke though, is that they're also like, um, they're also just really prudes. You know what I mean? And like the women in Eastern Asia really suck. I don't know who said Southeast Asia is different, but I don't know who like put out the information. That East Asian girls are great. They're not. I was in Gibraltar for a week. I ate fish and chips once and Pizza Hut 2 times. No Spanish food. Yep, exactly. Exactly. The best place in Brazil for a relaxed, low key trip, I think, is Espirito Santo. That's my favorite. Um, how much for a girl in Rio? Girls in Rio are very expensive. You're looking at like 100 to three, $400 in Rio. They can be expensive. Um, is Bariloche, Argentina, an easy, medium, hard level South American city? I haven't been to South America. I haven't been to Bariloche yet. We're gonna go to Bariloche in a couple months. But everything that I know about Bariloche is that it's like easy level. Bariloche might be one of the easiest levels. I actually think it's really like South Argentina is a very easy place for Americans to go to. Don't worry about it at all. Less headache, bro. Best spot for a beautiful, curvy, traditional wife, probably Mexico, but you want to go into like the boonies. So this is something that Colombian Odyssey said that like is so true that people don't realize is that pay for play is actually cheaper in a lot of places, even in South America. Pay for play is cheaper than going on a date. It really is. Like because like just look at the economics of it, right? So in South America, most places outside of Rio de Janeiro are going to cost you between like $50 and $100, right? Maybe 150 if you're pushing it, right? You go out for a date, they're going to want to go out to a nice dinner, a nice restaurant. Even if you're very handsome, they're going to want that. That's going to cost you like about 80, 90, $100. You know what I mean? Like a really nice restaurant for the two of you. So like, why not just 100 to 300 is crazy. That's the same price as Canada. Yeah, Rio de Janeiro is really expensive for that. 5'2" guy here. What are you being sarcastic about that? Why do people keep on telling me their heights? I don't care what your height is. I really don't. And so here's one thing about like leaving the United States is that leaving the United States and talking to people in the United States, it really feels sometimes like I've left a cult. I'm talking to cult members about like Lord Xenu and like his plan for like recolonizing Mars. And I'm just like, you guys sound like lunatics. And like guys in America who are constantly telling me their height, you guys sound like lunatics. You guys literally sound deranged. Like, first of all, to define your existence by any characteristic or any metric of you is crazy. To define your existence by a metric that is completely arbitrary and you have no control over is even crazier. Should I avoid Argentina if I'm mixed race? Should I avoid Argentina if I'm mixed race? Man, no, but you should avoid Argentina if you ask questions like that, you should avoid Argentina, if I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're the type of guy who thinks that you're gonna be in danger in Argentina for being mixed race, you probably you should just stay in Los Angeles, bro. Like that's where you should stay, in like a comfort circle at Soho House in Los Angeles. That's the where you need to be. First of all, just in South America, people don't, I mean, you're the type of person who's probably just going to hang out with gringos anyway. But you have to realize, like, South Americans don't put up with people talking that way. They're just like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? No, like, what do you think is gonna happen in Argentina if you're mixed race? Do you think people are gonna like spit in your coffee? Do you think there's gonna be like a lynching gang happening if you're mixed race in Argentina? Like, no, it's just a white country. Like that's all it is. It's like, oh, people there are racist. It's like, yeah, I mean, sure, But I mean, you probably complain about white people all the time, to be honest. So you're probably more racist than most of the Argentinians. Sorry, if I keep on going on these rants, I should probably okay. So I heard Argentina has a lot of ex Nazis. I mean, bro, like World War II was in 1945. My grandma was 9 in 1939 when Poland got invaded. She's 95 right now. Like, what do you think the ex Nazis are going to do to you? Bro is tired of the Argentina questions. No, I mean, it's just a. I'm like, to be honest, I'm not even angry at you. I'm angry at like the people who talked to you, who made you ask that question. What do you mean, like, my question is a headache, so I'm confused. No, no, no. He's saying that pay for play is less of a headache. Rio's got a huge pool, though. No, not really. He's talking about changing your life and not trying to win a rig game. Thanks, man. I do kind of want to lean more into that type of content long term, but you know, um, for now, the stuff that really like gets views is me talking about Brazil. 6'2", 6'7", I'm 3 feet tall. Thanks, bro. Thanks for all that info. Trying to find tall women. I'm just taking a guess here. Um, I heard her. Yeah, I look Bulgarian. I'm Polish. Best food city in South America is Lima, Peru. Love your content, bro. But some people ask stupid questions that are coming from an honest place. Yeah, that's fair, man. I apologize. I apologize for like the way that they answer that question. That's fair. That's on me. It's 8 p.m. and like I'm sick. So right now. So I apologize for anybody that took offense on that. Opinion on Venezuela. Don't go to Venezuela. Is your book to either get a trad wife and live where you found her or being back or bring her back to America? Um the question of like bringing her back to America or not is like the last part of the book. I mean, I don't talk about it, so it doesn't exist in the book at all. Like I live abroad, but like the important question is like how to find the woman and settle down, you know. Yeah, no, that's fair, man. My bad. Um, bro, did you bank a Latina? Yeah, dude, I'm married to one. Bro, how can we know you even pull women, bro? Just curious because I'm a fan. I mean, I'm married right now, so I at least I at least, you know, pulled one. Which Asian country has the most curvy girls? The question of which Asian country has the most curvy girls is like asking like which Latin country has the most emotionally stable women? Like none. You know what I mean? Like no Latin country has emotionally stable women, and no Asian country has curvy women. Have you seen Asian women? They're all like stick figures. You know what I mean? It's everyone. Why does Colombia Medellin suck? Because it's filled with foreigners, it's filled with Americans, and people in Medellin are starting to get pissed off at all the Americans who are there. That's the cliff notes. I don't really want to answer that question. When we both moving to Thailand, bro. Klepensky's on here. So this is Klepensky's first appearance on the live, but so for people who don't know, before I started this TikTok, I had a YouTube channel that nobody watched at all, except for Klepensky. So I gotta give him that. Bro, so I really want to move to Vietnam. Me and my wife are legitimately thinking about moving to Vietnam. So you should move to Vietnam too, bro. We'll just have a little like Vietnamese family together. Or like, so is your wife? Does your wife have like Chinese citizenship? Because my buddy lives in Shenzhen, and I'm thinking about moving there. Where the blonde Latinas at? Argentina. Going to Costa Rica for my first trip soon. Costa Rica is a good place for a first trip, to be honest. Costa Rica was my second trip to Latin America. Costa Rica is a great place, but you have to remember about Costa Rica. Costa Rica is basically Disneyland. Like it's not a real Latin American country, but because of that, it's like really safe and really secure. So highly recommend. Yeah, I need to visit Vietnam, dude. We gotta wait. Did we just agree to a Vietnam trip together? So my wife loves Vietnam so much. Vietnam was her favorite country in Asia by far. She loves pho. She makes pho like every day now. She's obsessed with it. So I think my family and Klopensky's family, we're gonna be moving to Asia. Also, like another reason why I'm considering moving to Asia is that like I don't like having to do these lives at 8 p.m. I'd much rather do them at like 6 o'clock in the morning and then just have my whole day to myself. But anyway, I'm moving to Argentina. Let's go. Um, yeah, dude, where are you moving to in Argentina? Me and my wife are we're probably gonna be like Vietnam is where I want to live, but we're probably gonna end up living in like Cordoba. Where to go if I want a girl for a real relationship? Yo, Deontay, did you literally just spend the first 30 minutes of this live asking about pay for play? And then you're like, yo, on another note, where do I get a real relationship? Um, sorry, I'm just talking a little shit. So I've explained this concept before, but like I'll explain it again now just because I feel like why not? I also do a lot of repeating myself on these lives. So there's a concept called a tier two city. Asuncion, where I'm at right now, is a tier two city. I'm going to Santa Cruz de Bolivia. That's a tier two city. Um, it's not tier two in terms of like the quality of the city. It's tier two in terms of like how common of a destination it is. So like the tier one travel destinations in Latin America are Costa Rica, Colombia, Brazil. But like in terms of cities, it's like Medellin, Cartagena, Rio de Janeiro, all of Costa Rica, Buenos Aires, right? Those are, I think, kind of maybe Lima, right? Cusco, but like kind of maybe Lima, right? Those are like your first tier cities. Those are terrible places to meet women as an American, which ironically is where most Americans actually go to. And the reason why it's a terrible place is because they've been seeing Americans their entire lives, right? So like they're not people think that like being a passport bro, like just being an American is what gets you in the door. That's not true. It's the novelty of you, right? It's like, if like if you're the only black person in Sweden, like you're gonna attract a lot of women, right? Because there's some girls who are into that, right? And that's the same thing with being an American in these other cities. The problem is that the cities like Rio and Medellin and all these other places have so many Americans for so long. It's not only has the Americans lost their luster, but on top of that, so many of the women from those cities have been screwed over by Americans. So the only women that date Americans are women who want one of five things: either pay for play, a sugar daddy relationship, a green card, a baby, or to rob you, right? And if they're not telling you on the first date that's one of the first four, then it's the fifth one, right? And so you're dealing with a very transactional type of relationship that, like, at best is going to be just like a sugar daddy relationship. Versus if you go to those other cities, they don't have that stigma, so you can attract good girls. Like, no good girl in Rio de Janeiro is ever dating an American. They're not doing it, and especially not in Medellin. right? So if you're looking to get a good girl, you want to go to one of those types of cities. Why is Mar del Plata unusable in the winter? Because it's cold. I don't know. I haven't bought your book yet. Um, okay. Did you travel a lot when you were a kid? Yeah, dude, I did. Um, anyway, let's see. What are they gonna do with the baby? They're gonna get child support. And like, if you think that in the year 2026 you can escape child support, like you're not escaping child support in the year 2026. Especially not from a Latina. A Latina will track you down. My favorite girls, I mean, they're Venezuelans because I married a Venezuelan, and they're everywhere. They're all over South America. Yeah, I was in Vietnam many years ago. Oh, so how would you move to Vietnam visa wise? I haven't looked into it yet. It wasn't that great. What has changed? What am I missing? Vietnam has developed a lot over the past few years, so I think that's primarily what's changed. Um, so I was in. I mean, I've been there since, but like I was in Thailand 10 years ago. I think Thailand 10 years ago was the best time to be in Thailand. Thailand kind of sucks now, which is funny because I'm about to start selling a Thailand trip package. But um, I think that Vietnam now is basically what Thailand was 10 years ago. That's kind of how I describe it. Thoughts on travel through the Caribbean? I don't really know that much about the Caribbean, man. I've been to BVI before, but I don't really know about the Caribbean. How long have I been kidnapped? I haven't been kidnapped at all. I almost got killed once, but I never got kidnapped. Why Venezuelans? So if you're looking to just hook up, they're really good for that. They're freaks. But then if you're also looking for a good relationship, you can also find really good Venezuelans for that as well. So really whatever you're looking for. Do you have any stories about Salvador de Bahia? No, I don't really have any stories. Why? Why do you want stories about Salvador so much? Should I go to Caracas? No, you shouldn't go to Caracas. I made a promise earlier in this live that I was gonna be like more respectful about dumb questions, but like I get asked this question so many times, man. Don't go to Caracas, please. You'll get killed. Do I still travel a lot after getting married? I actually, me and my wife, since getting married, have not been in the same city for more than a month. So we still travel a great deal. Number one tip for Colombia. I don't really know, man. They told me who told you um who told you that Cartagena is not that Venezuela is not that bad right now? So my wife is Venezuelan, half her family lives in Venezuela. Like half her like nuclear family lives in Venezuela. I also like work with this Brazilian company and like they have a lot of employees in Venezuela. So I know Venezuela pretty well actually. Not a single person I know has ever told me that's a good idea for an American to go to Venezuela right now. Do you ever solo travel even after getting married? No. Me and my wife are pretty inseparable. Um, I've heard a term like wife guy before, which I think just means like male who's happily married. And I'm definitely that. I feel bad for guys who just don't really like to spend time with their wife. I think most of those guys are like living in the United States. Because like I love spending time with my wife. She's great. I said my wife and I. Oh, but I'm Mexican, bro. Venezuelans right now living in Chile. Okay, so bro, are you actually Mexican or are you an American of Mexican descent? I heard getting a speedboat from Venezuela is a good way to get the God of Ash. That's true. Que pasa? We speak Spanish together. No, so were you born in Mexico or were you born in America? Were you raised in Mexico or were you raised in America? I don't know, man. There's a lot of dudes who were like born and raised in America whose like mom is half Mexican and like they say they're like Mexican. You know what I mean? Might seem weird to you, but like that happens a lot. So when's the Moreno Argentina? Anyway, thought that Punta Arenas, Chile. It's cold, I guess. What do you mean the current one is the one they all carrying? I don't know what that means. Just for next Wednesday, so I know what questions do you not like answering. I, that one. Um, dude, I like I'll answer any questions. Just like you have to realize. So first of all, I do these lives every day from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, right? So it's not just next Wednesday. You can come to this live tomorrow. I'll be on this live tomorrow, right? But here's the thing, right? I'd say like 85% of the questions that get asked on every live, I've been asked at least two or three times before. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood to answer a specific question. You know what I mean? So like, you know, I don't know what to say. Here's the thing, and I explained this in my live yesterday, actually, right? Like the content of these lives is not me answering your question because most people who jump on these lives don't jump on to get a specific question answered. They jump on because they just want to hear general information about travel in an entertaining way, right? And so if I'm kind of sick and tired of answering a specific question and I just don't feel like I can like answer it in an entertaining way at that moment, I'm just not going to answer it because like yeah, or I'm not going to give you a full answer because if I'm not into answering the question, the answer is not going to be that interesting for people, which is going to kind of be like a waste of their time, right? So you got to have that consideration of other people on this live. There's not just you; it's other people watching also. And if I'm not, if I'm just like, bro, I don't feel like answering this question, it's just not going to be a good answer. But if you want the answer to the question really bad, and you're on here specifically to get your questions answered, you're free to jump on tomorrow or jump on Friday and ask the same question and see if I'll feel like answering it. But again, if I don't feel like answering the question, the answer is going to suck and that means that it's going to be less entertaining for everybody else. 5'8". That's fair. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no worries, bro. No worries. I already appreciate your honesty. Thanks, man. Yeah, man. I'm just trying to like give people a good time. If you like the live, always invited back. Always invited. There's actually one question that I've decided that I'm not gonna answer, and it's people who criticize me for pushing the Cartagena group package too much, or people who criticize me for pushing stuff too much. That's the one thing that if you want to watch me like crash out and block you, that will happen. That happened to me 2 days ago. But besides that, any questions on the table? Um, how does South America compare to Southeast Asia? That's an interesting question. So basically, what I would say is that like Southeast Asia, the good thing about Southeast Asia, so comparing Southeast Asia and South America, places like Brazil or Colombia or like Argentina, right? Southeast Asia is a lot safer, right? It's also a lot cheaper everywhere. But also because it's a lot safer, you can stay in a lot of the cheaper areas and not worry about not being safe in a way that you just can't in South America, right? So me and my friend just did a deep dive into Cartagena video. You can't you can't stay in 85% of Cartagena realistically, right? But even if you're go to Bangkok, and even if you're going to stay in like the bad part of Bangkok, you'll still be fine in that area, right? So that's the big drawdown or the drawback of South America versus Asia is that it's more dangerous and it's more expensive, and you have to be on your toes a little bit more, right? The drawdown of Asia versus South America is that culturally it's a lot more rigid. And some people like that, but it's a lot more rigid and the relationships are a lot more transactional. You really feel that transactionness when you're dealing in Asia versus South America. And then on top of that, like South America is much easier for you to go to and be welcomed as part of the community and be welcomed in a genuine way as part of the community. That does not happen in Asia. I have a friend who's been living in Asia for 12 years. So he loves Asia, right? He's engaged now to a Thai girl. He's lived in Thailand for like 5 years. He still had to do visa runs. He still wasn't really accepted into the Thai community, right? You you spend a day in South America, you've been invited over to like 15 different people's houses for dinner. It's just very different that way. So South America is a lot more warm than Asia. All Latinos care to start. So how are you going to know the Venezuelan one is the one? I mean that's kind of a larger question. I mean, you know, that happens in every marriage and every relationship, no matter the ethnicity. It's just a question of like, are you willing to put the time and the commitment in order to keep your relationship alive? And like me and my wife are, but who knows? Every single couple that got divorced on their wedding day thought they'd be together forever. So I at least try to be humble enough to know that I might be wrong. Piranha versus Cordoba for living, not quick stop. Um, Piranha's really nice. I would say Cordoba because you wanted lasagna at a restaurant. They left. That's true. Matthew remembers that story. Um, make your money, bro. Yeah, dude. That's one thing, man. Is like the so I've been doing this channel now for like 7 months, and I've barely made any money from it. So that's one of the reasons why that's a question that I refuse to like engage with. Is like any like real fan of mine, I feel like understands. It's like, bro, like you deserve to get paid a little bit from this. Any info to share on Guayaquil or even Tumbes? I haven't been to Ecuador, man. I really want to go. I feel like a bitch for not going to Ecuador, to be honest. I like to live in Latam for 6 months to learn Spanish. What do you recommend? Argentina. Any tips on handling or carrying cash abroad? Um, I wouldn't do it. Like, why not just keep the card on like an ATM? Why not just keep the cash on an ATM card? There are a lot of questions here about cash. I just don't understand. Like, I take out like 100, $150 at a time. That's good. You know, I just don't see the compelling reason for it. Yeah. So are you transferring money? No, I mean all my money's just so all of my money's in my bank account, and I go to an ATM and I take it out when I need cash, or I just pay with my card. Women are women everywhere. That is true. I mean, women are also different everywhere, but women are also fundamentally women for which countries in South America have best options for long-term visas as an American? I would say probably Costa Rica, Argentina, and Paraguay are probably the best. But how those guys like Timmy Carter, Kurt Kaz survive in those dangerous places in Latam? Because they have a lot of. I mean, look, if you have a lot of experience navigating dangerous places, you'll be fine. But I mean, that's not even true. I know people for who like hang out in the favelas in Brazil, they still get kidnapped. But like most of the time, you'll be fine if you're if you know those dangerous places. I'm just answering that question for like people going to the for the first time to South America. If you're going for the first time to Rio de Janeiro, you shouldn't be going to favela unless you're going on like a tour. Um, been in Medellin for a whole month. Got welcome to a home for Canada and for tonight. Nice. Where are you now? I'm in Asuncion, Paraguay. If this live lasts long, I'll be the one to give us more tap tap. Oh, is that likes? I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone liking this. You spoke about South America not being safe compared to Southeast Asia. Where's a good country to start in South America that is safe? I would say Costa Rica is probably the safest country. Costa Rica is kind of like Disneyland. It really is. It's not a real place. It's kind of like designated specifically for Americans to go there. Like, for example, right? Like you'll go to the Costa Rica airport, the one in San Jose, and you'll literally see, I've seen this myself. You'll see like, a group of like 30 children and like one adult who like came down to Costa Rica on like a trip or something, right? That's the type of stuff you see in Costa Rica. You don't see that in like Peru. I mean, maybe in Cusco, right? But you'll never see that in like, you know, Asuncion, right? Not saying Asuncion is dangerous. It's just you just won't see that type of site. Costa Rica is made specifically for American tourists. So if you're like going your first time in South America and you like here's the thing, right? Like um I compare places like Costa Rica to like bowling with those bumpers. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people don't want to bowl with the bumpers because they're like, you know, they're kind of ashamed of it. They want to be like, "Oh, I'm a great traveler." And it's like you've never actually traveled, or you've been to South America twice. You don't really know your way around stuff, right? And I would say, like, don't be ashamed of it. Don't have an ego about it. Like, it's much better to go to a place that has bumpers on it than to lose the game. Because you lose the game of bowling and like what you don't care. You lose the game of traveling. You know, you end up on a t-shirt, right? So what I would say is just kind of for a lot of people, maybe not everybody, for a lot of people, don't have an ego about you. I think Costa Rica is a great first place to go, and you'll have a good, safe time. And like it also like it's really good because it kind of teaches you about the small differences between America and South America. And so once you get a handle of those, it'll make everything else a lot easier. Um Some women are more feminine than other women, especially the way they think and behave. Exactly. You live in Cordoba, Argentina. Nice. Me and my wife are going to be moving to Cordoba in July. Costa Rica is like Hawaii in Spanish. Yeah, 100%. Happy New Year. Okay, I'm now in Africa. Nice, dude. Had to correct you. Cuba is safe too if you keep your shit with you. If they scam you, they go to jail. I guess Cuba's safe then. I don't really know. I've never been to Cuba, so I don't know. Costa Rica is expensive and dirty and boring and no hot women, really. I guess that's the other take on Cuba on Costa Rica. It's dirty and boring. I wouldn't say it's boring. And I mean, if you think Costa Rica is dirty, like the rest of South America and Latin America is also going to be is also going to be dirty too. It is expensive though. Um, Panama is good. what in your opinion is the easiest country, Latin country, to start a family Spanish speaking gringo? That changes all the time. I honestly like right now. So me and my wife are going to Bolivia on Saturday, and I really think that Bolivia is the big hidden gem in South America. But because I haven't been there, I can't really like promise that. But I really think that Bolivia is like the place that I really want to go to. Besides that, Asuncion, Paraguay is really nice. I'm here right now. Panama's good. Which city is safe but cost effective in Argentina? Argentina's gotten a lot safer, so you pretty be fine everywhere. Should I go to Uruguay? Yeah, you should. Speaking, let's see, Spanish to travel South America. Costa Rica has lots of exotic, beautiful birds. If you like to photograph wildlife, yeah, exactly. Like Costa Rica is where you go to like go on a jungle tour to like you know go surfing, right? That's the beauty of Costa Rica. It's a great introduction to South America or Latin America. I think Argentina questions climbing up. Let's go. Paulie, you're a legend. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Dive Master Austin, where are you a dive master, bro? If I saw you in any country in the Middle East, you would regret it immediately. Why would I regret you seeing me in a country in the Middle East? Yeah, dude, I really want to go to Cuba. I need to get my Polish passport so I can get it. Am I Native American? No, I'm American American. You shouldn't have any problems with your visa in Panama, Uruguay, and Argentina. You should be fine. How critical is learning Spanish to travel South America? Like, you'll be fine for a day, but you won't be fine if you want to post up for like 6 months. Um, where's that dude who threatened me? What country are you in the Middle East, bro? And why would I regret it immediately? Come on, man. You know what? Why don't you do this? Tell me what country and what city you're in, and I'll go there. I'll go there in March. How about that? What, bro? Bro, you're talking so much shit, bro. Where are you, man? Which country is the best to go and stay there? It's one of those questions I can't really answer. Like people ask like, what's the best country? It's like it's hard to answer because there's so many different things that people are looking for in countries. You know what I mean? Best cities in Brazil, bro, for women, bro. Like, here's the thing: every single person who's on this live has probably seen my Brazil videos. And if you haven't, just go to my page, rank by most popular, and click on the video with 2.6 million views, and watch that video. And that's the answer to your question about Brazilian women. What's the worst country? My birthday's in March. I'm thinking about going in late March. Going where? Are you talking about the group trip? Because the group trip is March 16th to 22nd. So if you want to go there, that's perfect for your birthday. Where am I right now? I'm in Asuncion, Paraguay. Tip: bring US dollars and never use bank for exchange in streets. You get 3x rate. Also the Cohibas. Bro, this dude is about Cuba. I like it. I want to go to Cuba. I have no problem with Cuba, by the way. I just haven't been. Where's the Middle East guy? Yeah, so RGC lifestyle, like click the link in the bio, fill out the first form, and we'll talk. Brazil or Colombia? Colombia. It changes every day, by the way. Where's the Middle East guy? Dude, that's what I'm asking, bro. Where's the Middle East guy? Here, let's see if I can like invite him on to talk shit to me. I think he left. Yeah, he left. He's a little He's scared, bro. What's the best country for 4 hotties and me? Like, did you like? Are you bringing four hotties? How much is the trip? The trip is 1250. 1250. If you're going abroad with 4 hotties, like don't go to Colombia. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. How many days? 6. 6 days. Do I prefer do I prefer Casablanca, Morocco, or Lima? I will take sand to the beach. That's exactly what I'm saying, bro. That's exactly what I'm saying. Haven't been to Rio. Look, I promise I wouldn't answer questions with attitude, so I'm not going to. But like, yeah, I've been to Rio, man. I've been to Rio. Lima. Who else wants to go to Argentina and just hang out at church? I'm gonna be in Cordoba. You know, did I get Latinas? I'm married. What is includes room food, dude? Go to the link in my bio and set up a time to talk to me. It's literally the first link in the bio. Click on it. We'll set up a time to talk. I'll give you all the information. I want to get the 4 hotties there. Then Colombia. What do you generally think about marrying a girl from Goyas? Go for it. Fast life trip with pros and Airbnb. The best LATAM country for fast trip with pros and Airbnb is to go to the Cartagena group trip. Sorry, I don't want to promo this too much. I don't want the guy from the other day to get mad at me. But we have connections with all the pros you need. We have a mansion, this boat you can go on. It'll be a great time. Fill out the form. Is there any place in South America with the most Scandinavians? Yeah, Argentina, South Brazil, and Chile. Group trip is always the right answer. Can you tell us why you can't get laid in your own country? I can get laid in my own country. I just prefer to get married abroad. This is the thing. I just posted a video about this for my live yesterday, and I'm kind of upset that it didn't do better numbers. But like, people love to make, chopped comments about me, and like I'll take them all day, whatever. But what people don't realize that like hot American guys are moving abroad too. Like you guys are trying to bully passport bros by like making all these derisive comments, and like it kind of works a little bit. But once the hot guys start moving abroad too, then you're finished. Then you're finished. And here's the thing: there's so many hot guys. I don't want to keep on using the term hot guys, but like there's so many good-looking guys who are watching this live and are watching my videos. And are like, wait, that guy has a wife who's like cooks and cleans for him, and like constantly supports him, and like is like the traditional wife of 50 years ago. And this dude looks like this. Imagine what type of girl I can get. And that's when you guys are screwed. Any Central American country similar to Bali? I think the most similar place in South America that's most similar to Bali is Florianopolis, Brazil. Do you think Cartagena is better than Medellin for the group trip? Yeah, I think it's way better. To be honest, me and my partner, like my business partner, not like my partner, we did the math on it, and we could honestly be making like 50% more money if we did a group trip in Medellin versus Cartagena. Boy, okay. We're doing New Year's here, and it's 9 p.m., so I'm gonna have to wrap this up shortly. But we make a lot more money if I did a group trip in Medellin instead of Cartagena. But we just think that Cartagena is a better place to go. So even though we make more money, we don't think it'd be as good of a trip. So anyway, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate it. Have I seen the movie The Big Lebowski? Yes, I have. Blind Wife Who Cleans. Okay, I'm buying the book, 100%. All right, guys, I have to dip. Talk to you guys later. If you're interested in the group trip, click the link in the bio, fill out the form. Crypto Joe is ready for the group trip, 100%. Click the link in the bio. It's the first link. Fill out the form, and we'll talk. We'll set up some time to talk about the group trip. See you all later. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.